Super cool piece. I think there's a really great commentary on how everything online right now seems to be staged or planned, or people taking advantage of uh, what could be a inflammatory or polarizing event, so that people just get riled up. We live in a really polarized society, and I think this piece dove into that in a really sharp manner. I liked the colors, that's neon flares throughout, which also was kind of neat in terms of that polarizing theme. I saw like the red and the blue as kind of opposing colors, showing some dissonance, some juxtaposition throughout. I think it was really well acted, and I thought all the scenarios kind of evolved in that same kind of uneasy manner. And I thought the timeline choice of doing it a little bit disjointed was really interesting. So I could buy into it and then kind of let it wash over me, the series of events and how we got there ultimately, because we don't really get to see the how we got there portion when we're clicking on a new video or reading an article. We don't get that nuance. So but this was just a great piece, really well cast. I thought the set dressing was perfect, the location scouting excellent. There was just a real sleekness and a professionalism to the whole piece that kind of blew me away.
Very original sequencing of the scenes for these three scenarios. Very realistic, very inciting. 2 fights seemed to be provoked, and one was more of a male out of control in the boxing scene. All male driven, and it seems to be levels of victimizing people, provocation, and just male hostility when they feel threatened, for some that can't control themselves. There were scenes inserted of video games, violent ones, and violent sport. So I think the idea of this is of male and how they perceive threat and problems and challenge. Very interesting.
You do a great job of addressing the way we treat other people and what is a spectacle and how do we treat a spectacle. And I think you do that really well with the acting and the way it's written. But I also think it's almost hyper stylized in a way to get that down. I think the way that you saturated the film and with the different colors throughout this, you create certain spectacles of different objects and different people and of the film itself. So I think that was really smart, and I think it was a really interesting way to, once again, create another sort of spectacle within the piece. I think overall, you really capture the tone. I think it's a very well-rounded piece. I think it was really interesting to watch. And once again, I really enjoyed the style. So this came together to be a really, really well-done piece.
Certainly the way it's colored, that sort of very vibrant, just the coloring was really spectacular, and it really just worked with the tone of the film. And it kind of, in the end, when I see them playing Street Fighter, it actually kind of reminded me a bit of that. The way things were edited, the way it was produced, just had that kind of vibe, which made total sense. I wasn't really aware of it as I was watching it. I was just enjoying the film. And then I sort of pieced that together, at least in my mind, that's the way it sort of felt. Just a good piece, really well written, some good performances as well.
I was really impressed to see that this was written, directed, shot, and edited by one person. Great job to you. I thought the lighting, specifically in the car with the waiter and the friend, was really cool. There was different colorings there. I believe there was some red, and then at one point it was a different color. Just really interesting lighting there. I like that a lot. I think I said this already, but nice music throughout. I liked the locations and all the different stories. Specifically the diner with the waiter and the boss, and the park. The other stories I thought I really liked the takes on those stories and how, you know, even somebody who's been sort of harassed or taken for granted or taken advantage of or treated badly because of who they are, what they look like, over and over and over, and they finally kind of snap. And maybe it's even caught on film, like with the guy at the park, but it shows only that part of them. That's something I took away from this. We don't see the whole picture, and we don't see what they've been going through on a daily basis. Not to say that it's okay to snap and hurt somebody, but I just liked the take on this, and I liked the title, spectacle. And one of the things I really liked, for some reason, I just thought it was a cool effect, was when the guy was washing his hand after punching the guy in the park. He was washing his hand at the sink. And I just really liked the blood going down the drain. I just felt like it was symbolic, but also just kind of a cool, it just looked perfect. I don't know if that's just how it happened or if that was an effect, but it looked really good and cool. And it really, to me, wrapped up that moment.
I like the idea of jumping around in time and telling a story out of order or pseudo out of order. And also the idea of the three tangential, like the three different tracks of the story with the three different characters, um, and how the fight affects all of them, um, um, each in their own way. I thought that was a great narrative technique that was pulled off really well. Um, that made it for a bigger impact, almost kind of like Pulp Fiction, of how like the three stories together makes a greater impact as a whole, as a cohesive whole, than just each one of them by themselves.
My curiosity was definitely hooked. I was at first confused about the different storylines, and I wasn't clear on how they connected. I can definitely see this as being a bit of a longer piece with something that connects these three different storylines. I definitely found that some of the characters were more like easier to relate to and have empathy for than other ones. So it's curious to see the choices, but a really interesting experiment in using different storylines with a common theme.